Hello, friends. It's your pajama scholar, Hank, at a little bit past about 4:45 for an AGR today. This is going to be a little bit more to the point, because I just want to go over quickly what we could, as Americans, be discussing as far as policy goes. It's a debate that we citizens should have, because I believe in the collective wisdom of our people. So, basically the premise is the roles for federal power in the 21st century. Because I do realize that times are changing. I just put together a few ideas on one specific organization because it is such a political football, and that would be ICE, or Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Now, I'm specifically focusing on immigration, obviously. Now, not being a citizen of the United States, aliens have not yet secured Fourth Amendment rights, nor any other rights afforded by the United States Constitution. And this is basically just what I believe should possibly be operational doctrine. All social media, government records, etc. would be subject to review by ICE until naturalized. Work visas and green cards are no substitute for citizenship, and all aliens are considered to be guests at the pleasure of the United States. ICE will have a team that reviews records and monitors social media accounts as a part of the review process, especially when applying for entry to the United States and application for citizenship. Special considerations would be applied in expediency for foreign refugees or persecuted political dissidents, soldiers or foreign nationals who served or have served in the interest of the United States. The CIA, in conjunction with the FBI, would forward these special consideration cases to ICE, where additional monitoring and review can be continued during a fast-track process for the appropriate designation as a guest of the United States. Hopefully, such guests will pursue a path of citizenship and become a naturalized voting citizen in the Republic, secure in all the rights afforded by the United States Constitution. Intercepts made by tracking location of cellular or social media accounts or by other means of surveillance, electronic or otherwise, finding aliens who have illegally made border crossings into the United States would be forwarded to ICE for review. A process that relies on near blitz speed will send a friendly team of ICE agents to kindly inform illegal aliens of the transgression and will assist at that location to begin the proper process of application for the appropriate designation as a guest of the United States. A temporary identification card would be provided to the illegal alien for the purposes of extending identification for law enforcement. ICE will process the application, file the appropriate information with all the necessary background checks, and then return to the residence. Now, my reasoning for this would be, this provides for additional avenues of human intelligence, community resourcing, and fostering a non-adversarial attitude, a non-adversarial relationship, where transgressors that may not be aware or understand our laws, criminals or otherwise undesirable aliens, will be immediately deported. Illegal aliens who commit any crime during the period holding the temporary identification card will be immediately deported. Even though an illegal alien has technically already broken our laws, we are merciful and provide a grace period for the benefit of education. Since an illegal immigrant would already be technically in violation, you are not a guest of the United States. We are simply extending a courtesy. Illegal aliens do not have constitutional rights and are not subject to the protections afforded by the United States Constitution. Any infraction, speeding ticket, drunk in public, driving without a license, possessions of a firearm, anything, is grounds for immediate deportation. Because again, you're already in transgression and we are extending a courtesy. Illegal aliens have not even secured an invitation as a guest of the United States. But since we are a merciful people, concentrated on education, human rights, and opportunity for immigrants, because we are a nation of immigrants, we do not begin with imprisonment or whipping your ass or executing you. Now, the Chinese do things very differently, so this is why I think we should examine our policies. Because they're totalitarian. We are not. We have a focus on human rights, but we still have laws that must be obeyed. We provide channels to make every effort available to pursue the correct legal method of enjoying your stay as a guest of the United States. We encourage opportunity, but we do not tolerate crime. I believe this non-adversarial approach will encourage illegal aliens to voluntarily contact ICE for the purpose of receiving the necessary guidance without having to clog up the court. The proper file generated by ICE can then be sent for judicial review. In this way, immigration can be processed more quickly, with less burden to the courts, and provide ICE with valuable human intelligence. Once an immigrant secures citizenship, this is a very important point here, so I'll say it again. Once an immigrant secures citizenship, I'm talking about full citizenship, they gain Fourth Amendment protections, and ICE is then therefore ordered to seal the record, which is no longer admissible evidence in any future court proceedings. The operation will be funded by businesses employing immigrant labor. This taxation will be akin to what a citizen pays into Social Security. This encourages ICE to be an effective agency. The more productive, legal, working immigrants equals more funding for the agency. Since illegal aliens are not afforded any protections of the United States Constitution, a separate code will be written and published, transparent, for citizen reviews. Now, this is not a political football. This is simply a clarification. Though an illegal alien may not have the protections, privileges, and responsibility carried by the constitutional citizens of the Republic, they are entitled to the respect all peoples enjoy, the dignity of human rights. Children born to illegal immigrants on American soil are citizens of the United States. In an effort not to break up families and still respect our most sacred code of citizenship, it is by birthright inherited to an American for being born on American soil. It would be highly encouraged for the parents to pursue some path of legal or of citizenship or of legal stay. While the child has inherited citizenship, the parents have not. They cannot own property. They can have no legal rights. They cannot legally work. If the parents are subject to deportation, the child is not legally bound to accompany them, but until they reach the age of emancipation, they must have some other legal guardian properly designated as a guest of the United States or as a United States citizen. This guardian will be required to provide for the care and resume all liability for the minor until the age of emancipation. Lacking an advocate, guardian, or emancipation, the minor will return to the country of origin with their parents as a citizen of the United States. Our American embassies are open to these minors. American citizens and the full weight of the American State Department can and will be applied toward American minors without legal American wards. Let me see if I can rephrase that. So, as a citizen of the United States, our American embassies are open to these minors, American citizens, and the full weight of the American State Department can and will be applied towards these American minors without legal American wards until they reach the age of emancipation or a guardian is found. As an American citizen, even as a minor, they are always welcome to return to America with all the securities, rights, and protections afforded by the United States Constitution. Parents traveling with such an American citizen minor will again be fast-tracked for a temporary travel visa. In this way, parents can conduct the business required to secure guardianship, education, health care, testing, permitting, registration for military service, and voter registration for the American minor. ICE will continue to provide oversight and guidance for the safety of the child and to monitor for potential criminal activity. The minor has Fourth Amendment rights. The parents do not. I leave the authoring of penalties for illegal aliens who commit crimes on American soil who illegally cross the American border after once being deported. I refuse to tolerate multiple transgressions, especially when time, money, and the highest level of courtesy is extended to create the proper path towards staying as a guest of the United States or as to pursue a path of citizenship. In the commission of a crime or criminal activity under the generous courtesies we have extended, I would recommend we remind these people they have no constitutional rights, and by abusing our attitude toward human rights, you will have evaporated our patience. You would have exhausted the extent of our goodwill. I refuse to imprison non-citizens at the expense of the American citizen. Now, this is a bit extreme, but I'm going to present it. My attitude is akin to that of someone who breaches the boundaries of my home without invitation with intent to do harm to my life, liberty, and property. As we have castle laws and stand your ground laws in both Texas and Florida, you may infer my attitude toward penalty, though I would greatly appreciate any more moderate yet equally effective policy regarding this matter to exclude the court. For the illegal alien possessed no constitutional rights and has already exhausted our courtesy. Illegals will not be trained in our prisons to extend the influence of their criminal operations. Imprisonment in America has little to do with reform. The data on repeat offenders and other such things reflects this. By many, especially of the criminal mind, it is considered more of a criminal college, where networks and contacts can be solidified to improve the efficacy of criminal operations. Now, this particular point I leave you to consider. This is very much a debate required for the American citizen to open, to discuss, and to decide. I am most interested in hearing proposals that will work, not in arguments against or to detract. The objective, the first objective, is to gather as many proposals as possible, reasonable or unreasonable, and from these many proposals, we will select the best that suit our opinion, and then we will debate the merit. The best policies are not built through singular notions, rather, consideration of elements in many proposals to construct meaningful policy. If there is bias to be considered, I expect we should admit this bias. Bias is interest, and interest of all kinds should be examined during policy debate. The law is not a cold thing. Law should be infused with the spirit. Thinking with the clarification of reason in codification, feeling through our hearts with compassion, calculating the economics of achieving the objective, satisfying that which inclines man's heart towards justice, and exalting the responsibilities and privileges that come with full citizenship as a servant, steward, and beneficiary of the Republic. Now, as anyone serving in an official capacity, enforcement, or political, it is understood that you are subject to censure and review at random or with cause by your own agency, in this case, ICE, the FBI, and the DIA. Now, I believe this measure to be equal and fair. If you were entrusted to review the conduct of another, to determine their merit, motivations, history, and objectives, you too must agree to oversight by similar methods. This is not to interfere with the conduct of your business or approach toward enforcement. It is specifically targeted toward corruption and abuse of power, providing innocent individuals with some degree of anonymous recourse. And I conclude with this. Few things are more repulsive to the virtue of a republic than the abuse of power. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. And I would welcome discussion on the matter. It's been Hank, your pajama scholar. Catch you on the flip side.